this will be the first of many. Of course, the next one's hopefully wins. But it's time for an NBA Finals report card. What is up, San Antonio Spurs fans? Welcome to TSR Sports. Hope you had a great weekend. And as promised, today's video will be an NBA Finals report card. Grades will be based on player performance, player expectations, and just a general eyeball test. As always, remember, I call these games live, so I'm talking to the chat score. I got a whole bunch of things going on, so I do see the games differently than you. That being said, let's get into it. First up, use the force Luke, because he needed some force, because Luke Kornet was mostly unplayable in this series, only averaging 8 minutes a game, a half a point, 2 boards. That 0% field goal percentage is correct. He took 2 shots in 41 minutes and missed them both. And he also had 0 blocks in the series. He was so good during the regular season. Remember, guys, what happened to Kornet on the lob? He was pretty much a liability on both ends of the court when he was out there in the NBA Finals. I hate to do this, but an F. I'm giving him an F. I'm sorry, Luke. I like you. You were great during the regular season, but as we got further and further into the playoffs, his production just went... Starting off with an F for Luke Kornet. It's been really disappointing, too, when he has championship experience with the Celtics. So, anyway, Bryant. He only got about 5 minutes a game, 2 points. A little bit of shooting he did do. He shot phenomenal. 60, 67, well, 50 is not phenomenal. And he made some rookie mistakes as expected. I think he played fine for a rookie. I thought he did pretty well. Maybe he should have got more minutes, maybe a couple minutes here and there in the second half to relieve some of our guys that are logging heavy minutes. Not a ton, but maybe 7 to 8 minutes a game. I'm going to a B. A B for Bryant. All right, this one was kind of tough. Keldon Johnson, our 6th man in the year, who did not play like that, only got 15 minutes, 4.5 points, 3 rebounds, and he could not hit shots around the rim to save his life. Our Johnson could not get it in. 35, 38, to his credit, he shot the 3 ball well. And 38% from the line, Keldon. The thing is that's weird here. His stats are clearly not great. And somehow, and some of you like this stat, some of you hate this stat, some of you are in between. I'm kind of in between. But the Spurs in the finals were a plus 26 when he was on the floor, including a plus 17 in Game 5. Okay, I know he's playing some tough defense on Cat. He was biting him up and really roughing up the suspect, if you will. But that shooting just really... And I had to... For being the 6th man in the year, I know he struggled with the playoffs. I'm like, Keldon, it's the finals. You've got to step up. We need our Johnson to rise. Okay, I'm done with the Johnson jokes. I'm going to give him a C minus. I really can't explain that plus minus. Moving right along. Julian Champagnie. 32 minutes, 11 points, 5 boards, 41, 41, 67. This is kind of what we saw from him throughout the entire playoffs. He was solid. Now, the 4 turnovers in Game 5, a little bit blip on the radar, but overall, I think Julian Champagnie was solid. I'm going to give him a B. But nothing stood out that was great. Nothing stood out bad. It was like he did his job as expected from a role player. I'm giving Julian a B. Vassell, 38 minutes, 13 points, 7 boards, 3 assists on splits of 54, 47, 86. I give a shout out to Vassell. I wasn't in love with his contract when he signed it. I thought it was a little too much for his production. And for his regular season production, I do think he is slightly overpaid. But his playoff production throughout this entire playoffs and his defense, he really stepped it up. And yeah, I'm happy to be wrong about him. He was fantastic. He probably should have taken more shots in this series. And really the only bad game he had was Game 1. I was impressed. I was really impressed by Vassell. Kudos to him. I'm giving him an A. If more guys shot like this, we would have swept the Knicks. Everybody shot like that. De'Aaron Fox, 37 minutes, just under 13 points a game, 3 boards, 6 assists. And I'm glad he hit his free throws because he wasn't hitting much else. 34 and 25. Okay. Yes, I was expecting way more from De'Aaron Fox. If we take away Game 2 on De'Aaron Fox, he averaged 11 points per game on splits of 28, 19, 88. He really had one good game in the series, and it really, Spurs fans, drives me crazy when I see him chucking 3 after 3, and he's acting like he's Steph Curry.
Stop it. Get some help.
Stop it is it. You're not Steph Curry. And let's not even talk. We've talked about it in the channel. Game 4, fourth quarter, absolutely, he fell apart. I know he was probably still dealing with that injury to his ankle. And I sincerely thank him for helping get this team to the NBA Finals. We don't get to the NBA Finals without De'Aaron Fox. Let's not be naive there. But I am basing this grade on his NBA Finals performance. And he failed across the board. You are supposed to be our second best player. You weren't our second best player. You weren't probably our third best player. You probably weren't our fourth. You probably just fifth best player. Devin outperformed him. So many guys outperformed him, and it sucks that he's under such a microscope right now. I've never been the biggest De'Aaron Fox supporter, if you will. I was happy that we got the trade for him, but I hated his contract extension, which we can talk about now. It's the end. I said I wouldn't talk about until after the playoffs. The playoffs are over, but hated his contract extension. If the Spurs had waited until after the playoffs to extend him this year, which maybe there's pressure from the agents, from him, who knows. You would not be getting a max contract based off of that. Absolutely not. It's looking like a possible bad investment for the Spurs. I hope I'm wrong there. I hope he proves everybody wrong and looks like 23-year-old De'Aaron Fox somehow next season. But man, this is enough. We needed so much more for him. And I thought we were going to get it, and we got nothing. Stephon Castle, that's a little tough too. 32 points, 32 minutes is 32 points, jeez. 32 minutes, 15 points, 5 boards, 4 assists. Shooting was 38-30, 81. He hit his free throws as well. That shooting really dropped off because of the last 2 games where he shot only 3 of 17 where we really needed him. He did have a huge game 3 where the Spurs won. He's kind of tough to grade because he is a defensive positive. He's one of our best defenders, probably our second best defender after Wemby, right? But the offensive struggles can't be ignored. I want to give him a C. I don't know if I'm being too harsh. Kind of like the thumbnail. Am I being too harsh? Because he is young. He's in the first run in the playoffs. The defense is a plus. Those last 2 games are bad. He struggled with fouls a lot. When we needed him on the court to give us said defense, he did struggle with some really bonehead fouls. I want bonehead fouls. So I feel like a C. If you want to grade him a little higher, I won't argue with you. If you want to grade him a little lower, I won't argue with you. Devin, you son of a Harper. Second leading scorer on the Spurs, our rook, at 18 points a game, 6 boards, 3 assists. Struggled with his 3 ball. Mostly it was because of one game he went 1 of 8. I don't remember which game. It was a game the Spurs won. He went 1 of 8. But overall, 49, 28, 77. And I know he had some miscues at the end of game number 5. But this is the production I was expecting from De'Aaron Fox. I thought De'Aaron would be dropping 18 points a game and shooting near 50% from the field. Instead, it's our rookie. There were at times when he was the best player on the court for the Spurs. Heck, you could argue there were times that he was the best player on the court, period. The future is bright for Dylan Harper. Aside from some poor shooting, a little poor shooting here and there, and just, a little bit of mistakes at the end of game 5, I'm giving him an A. You want to give him an A+? No argument here. And probably the hardest person to grade for the most part was Victor Wembanyama. He played 40 minutes a game, which I think we can all agree is way too much. He averaged 26 points a game, 11 boards, almost 4 blocks. On splits of 42, 27, 79. Low for him. That's like rookie year Wemby. That's actually, I think, worse than rookie year Wemby. As far as defense, this is an easy A. No doubt Wemby is an A on defense. But when we look at the offense, I think he was taking way too many shots outside the paint. That could be because of fatigue, probably was. And obviously Mitch Johnson's responsible for that, who will grade in just a few months. I think Wemby needs to step up and tell the coaching staff too, like, yo, he doesn't speak like yo, but hey, I'm tired. I need a minute or 2. I got nothing left in the tank. And I know he's a competitor and you want to be out there, but if you're out there actually hurting your team because you got nothing less, you got to take it upon yourself and say, I need to come out for a minute. So he did struggle offensively here and there. I think his offense, I would rate a C, which gives us the average of a B. And even that, I'm still questioning, like, hey, baby, he's so good both. It's so hard. But then, you've got the flagrant foul, and he probably should have had another flagrant in game 5. He's clearly letting his opponents get, and I understand why he's getting frustrated. He's getting hooked, he's getting grabbed, etc. But retaliation's never the answer because they're always going to generally see you doing it back than not to the people doing it to you. It's a learning period for Wemby. I don't think he deserved all the hate he got from social media. He'll be fine. I'm going to give him a B. All right, up next, we're going to talk about the coach, Mitch Johnson. Clearly in way over his head. He was basically running a 7-man rotation in the finals, which was way too little rest for our guys. They just had a tough series, a 7-game series with OKC, the tough series with the Timberwolves. Blew a double-digit lead in every game. The Spurs blew a double-digit lead in every game of this series. They led, I think, 70% of the series, and yet lost 4-1. Mike Brown was making adjustments clearly at halftime to the Spurs. Were generally the better team at halftime in every one of these games. Did we lead at the half in every one of these games? I don't know. I can't check one take TSR, but we lost every one of these games at the end, -1. And of course, the biggest choke job in NBA history is now unfortunately attached to this team and Mitch Johnson with game number 4. And his reliance on Fox when Fox was struggling, I do question that. And he even said in a post-game interview, yeah, I'm running with him. This is kind of tough to grade because expectations, he's a rookie coach, he's a young coach. But there's also you see a problem and you're going with it over and over and over again. You see it play out this series. Well, I felt not confident in Game 5. I was rooting for our Spurs, but then when the Knicks started coming back, I'm like, this is the same blueprint in all of our losses. We're up, and then they're going on a run, and now we have no answer. And I'm going to give Mitch a D. Maybe that's being too harsh, like the thumbnail again, but there were just too many of the same mistakes being made over and over again. At some point, you got to stand there and say, hey, this ain't working. Try something else. I feel like much of the rest of the team, he's going to learn from this and be a better coach next year. I'm absolutely not part of the Fire Mitch crowd. I know there's some of you out there. There's actually a lot of you out there. Trade Fox, who right now is looking untradeable unless we can take some other bad contract on. Or he's looking untradeable. In my opinion, he looks untradeable after that finals. And Mitch, I don't think we should fire him. Absolutely not. I know there's an argument if we had a better coach, maybe we do in this series. Maybe we do. I don't know. But Mitch is also part of the reason that we got to the finals, so I'm not ready to move on him from yet. And let's talk about the team, a team grade. You can actually take a lot of the stuff I just said about Mitch Johnson and apply it to the team grade because they're also the ones that had the historic collapse, blew many leads. But I'd probably give him a little more pass. Because when I'm grading Mitch, I should know, I'm also grading the entire coaching staff. That's Sweeney, that's everybody. The defense was on point, but if Mitch is making mistakes, the other coaches got to step up and say something too and hold them accountable. The team is young. I wanted them to win, but I'm not surprised they lost to the more experienced Knicks. I am surprised they lost the way they did, which hurt. That's what hurts the most. It hurts that we lost the NBA. It hurts that our Spurs lost the NBA Finals. But what makes it worse is the way they lost it. That they could have won pretty much every game in this series, and they just blew it in the fourth quarter in every time. So their young team. They were clearly fatigued at times in the second half. The Game 4 debacle, I place a lot of accountability on Mitch on that for running the guys way too many minutes in the first half when we were up by a ton. So I'm going to actually give the team a C. Maybe that's being a little generous. Maybe that's being, again, too harsh. I don't know. But I can say this. I'm absolutely proud of our guys. They overachieved like nobody's business. Nobody for the most part had them going to end the NBA Finals this year. It was a disappointing end to a Cinderella season. But I do think we have something special. And sometimes you got to get knocked down. You got to get knocked down a peg before you rise to the top, if you will. And we saw Michael Jordan lose a lot of playoff series early in his career. LeBron James. The Thunder, last year's champions. The Knicks, with all their struggles of last year, those losses build you up and hopefully eventually make you a better team. And that's my expectation for the Spurs next year, that this will be a learning experience, not a, oh gosh, we lost, and then they never get back. This is going to be a learning experience, and everybody learns from it and is better. As far as content moving forward on the channel, I just want to let you know that we'll, of course, still be making content. The draft is coming up next week. I'll be live for both nights, likely with Miss TSR for both because of all the UConn guys in the draft. So I'll have a lot of draft coverage coming up over the next week. We'll talk free agents and trades, and at some point I'll do a video on who I think should stay and who I think should go on the roster. We got a lot of contracts expiring, who should come back, and who needs to sit their way out the door. Anyway, that's all I got. Drop a comment below on all the grades. I love leaving your opinions on the grading for the Spurs, players, the teams, the coaching. I'm sure we'll see some trade Foxes, fire Mitches in the comments. That's certainly fine. You're entitled to your opinion. I'm ready for it, and let's build on this. Let's build on this. We can be better, and we can make it back to the finals again next year. I do believe that. Thank you. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you, and as always, go Spurs, go!